Frank Capra famously said, "There are no rules in filmmaking, only sins. And the cardinal sin is dullness." Action in film and television is myriad in its purposes. It can further the plot, reveal character, explore themes and ideas, but above all it has to be engaging. It has to enthrall the audience. Vice versa, many action scenes can also be forgettable and overblown. So what actually makes a great action scene? Well, filmmakers have a specialized toolkit in crafting action which can result in the action scene in question being exciting, a spectacle for the eyes, and sometimes it can be just plain fun. As such, this video is going to focus on how the filmmaker crafts the ideal action scene through 3 key tools: cinematography, writing, and visual style. So let's begin. Obviously, every single action sequence is going to be filmed differently to match the intended pace and choreography, but it also needs to be captivating to watch. So here are 3 key examples of shots, all for different effects. Single continuous shots, reaction shots, and of course, the bird's eye view shot. The single continuous tracking shot of a particular action sequence capturing one particular character's plight through an action set piece usually has one intended effect: spectacle. The shot illustrates the larger scope and chaos, and sometimes the immense brutality on display, whether it is an epic battle in Game of Thrones, a character-defining moment of perseverance in Daredevil, or a fun all-out brawl in Kingsman's Secret Service. It never really fails to impress and wow the audience. On the other hand, reaction shots in an action sequence are all about emotional context for the viewer. In one respect, it informs how we as the audience are meant to feel about a character's actions, or more specifically, perhaps their use of violence. In another respect, an onlooker present can also heighten the stakes of the fight, because if our hero loses or fails, then he or she watching can come into direct harm or danger as a result. Whatever the case may be, reaction shots can go a long way to give an action scene a degree of weight for the audience. Bird's eye view shots from a helicopter or crane is a great way of providing the entire scope of the action, as the audience needs to not only get a sense of what the characters are doing, but also the nature of their surroundings. Needless to say, the combination of cinematic techniques that the filmmaker ends up using to suit their desired effect always needs to be appealing. Writing is extremely crucial for any aspect of the cinematic experience, no less for action scenes. To keep the audience's low attention span, the action has to keep reinventing itself constantly. Therefore, a great action scene will be dynamic. It has to continually evolve and not linger too long. Many action scenes do this through phasing. For instance, in Spider-Man 2, what starts out as a versatile battle on top of a train quickly turns into a fight over the citizens within that train before a desperate race against time to stop the train from crashing with said citizens. It's organic, and the action is constantly moving so that the audience is never bored of what's happening on screen. But I think what's perhaps the most important aspect of any action sequence are character beats. The audience isn't going to care about all the explosions and people being murdered if there aren't little moments where the characters can interject and shine. There is a myriad of examples I could use, but I'll give 2 for the sake of time, the first being Mad Max Fury Road. Everyone gets their own little focused moment in the spotlight to tie in all the carnage around them, to give meaning to the expressionless destruction. Likewise, in the Helm's Deep battle in Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, the best battle scene in the trilogy by the way, all our main cast gets a character beat, like Legolas surfing down the stairs on a shield, or Gimli humorously getting tossed across a bridge. This is how an action scene transcends from being just things happening on the screen to something that resonates with the viewer. Little pockets of humanity can go a long way. The audience isn't going to care about the action if they don't have any inclination towards the characters after all. Therefore, action scenes not only need to be dynamic and versatile in their approach, but they also require a more human touch as well.
Because I know something you don't know.
And what is that?
I am not left-handed.
You're amazing.
I ought to be after 20 years.
Oh, there's something I ought to tell you.
Tell me.
I'm not left-handed either.
Many films and shows will have their own style, and that of course extends to the action sequences. Slow motion is the first thing that comes to mind, which is utilized to dramatize and accentuate the action. Sometimes slow motion will be mixed with fast motion to provide a visual feast of variety for the viewer to make action sequences more invigorating to witness. Another visual element that is utilized is lighting, or more specifically, the utilization of shadows or silhouettes creates an artistic portrait of the poetic, thus forming a more memorable imprint in the mind of the audience. Another component of visual style is the nature of choreography. Sometimes the choreography can be calculated with an immense amount of detail, as it is in John Wick, providing dazzling feats of well-orchestrated action. And in others it can be completely abnormal, as is the case with Kung Fu movies that are fun to watch due to a lack of restrictions placed upon them. Regardless of the intended visual style, if you want to create an action sequence that the audience can remember long after, some visual spices don't hurt. So I've only mentioned a couple of the ways in which filmmakers create an ideal action scene. But like most things, the crafting of a timeless action scene comes down to the interplay between different techniques. Not only different cinematic writing and visual elements, but also countless other aspects: the music, the scenery, the editing, the contrast in the color gradient, the makeup, the special effects, etc., etc. So whatever the filmmaker chooses to do, whatever mix of techniques the filmmaker chooses to employ, whether it be on the small screen or the big screen, it has to be thought out. It has to be intelligently placed. It always needs to capture the attention of the audience, and it can never be dull. Thank you so much for watching. Write in the comments what your favorite action scenes are, and I'll see you guys in the next one.